Welcome back to the Celtics Nation Rise account. I'm Griffin Aldrich, and we have some breaking news. Xavier Tillman Sr. has been traded to the Charlotte Hornets, and two L's in there. Gotta give my boy some credit. My bad. But Xavier Tillman, via Shams Charania, the Boston Celtics have traded Xavier Tillman Sr. to the Charlotte Hornets. Sources tell ESPN. This gets the Celtics out of the luxury tax. Hornets get $3.5 million in the deal. For Xavier Tillman, hate to see him go. This was a locker room guy. This was a guy who won the championship with the Boston Celtics. It was so much fun to see him in there. He wasn't traded right here in Boston. He deserved to get a lot of time and deserved to be that number one guy out there. Not a number one guy, but a guy who got a lot of time out there because he was good. I mean, there were very few games that he had bad games, and then he really didn't play. He was just more so a locker room guy. Everyone you talked to loved seeing Xavier Tillman, loved talking to him, was a fun guy to have around, and he was just a great guy to have on the Boston Celtics. However, when you're in the NBA, you're looking to make moves to add people to your roster, and this opens up the third roster spot for the Boston Celtics. This one went through, but still don't know exactly what we got in return with Boucher and Minot. But now the Celtics can make some noise on the buyout market. For Xavier Tillman, again, the time that the Celtics had with him was incredible. I mean, the finals run that we had winning the championship with him, this was a player that we brought in at trade deadline that season and was one of the missing pieces to this team, brought big energy off the bench and, helped out the team tremendously. And this is a guy who I think is going to go to Charlotte and going to get a lot of opportunities. This is a guy who we're finally going to see play once again, I hope. He was willing enough to, be sent down to the G League last year with Kristaps Porzingis to help him with his recovery. So he's just been so lenient. He's a guy that, won't say no. He's a guy that takes stuff in the chin and will take it. And he's just been a great guy to have on this Celtics organization. And I wish him nothing but the best because I think there's still a lot more in store for Xavier Tillman. He's a guy where I've loved seeing him play. And obviously Joe Mazzulla it didn't fit well. For the locker room, it fit well, but this is a tough one to see him go. And the Celtics really have made noise. This is you've traded Anthony Simons, you've traded Xavier Tillman, you've traded Josh Minot and Chris Boucher, 4 guys already off the team. And this one is definitely hurts a little bit. He's been the longest on the team for the ones that we have traded so far. But again, you love to see him finally get an opportunity because it feels like Boston was kind of holding him back because when you're in the NBA, you're in the NBA to play. And he was not playing. He was at the end of the bench. He really didn't see a lot of time. We saw him get some time last night. Same with Josh Minot, too. I didn't mention on the last video. Both those players got to play last night in that win versus the Rockets, and that was kind of a final send-off for Xavier Tillman. So good to finally see them get their kind of last hurrah in Boston. Got to see them play for the final time. And for Tillman, I think he still has stuff. I think this is a player that you could see being in the rotation. I think he's a good forward, and I think this is a tough guy that you're going to put out there. And we already talked to Amari Williams, and go check out that exclusive interview and check out the video we did about him. But Amari Williams even talked. He was a mentor. He helped even train Amari Williams. This was a good guy to tell him to stay ready. You never know when your name's going to get called. And for Tillman, that was the case. He didn't get a lot of opportunities with the Celtics, but he was always ready. And when his name was called, so sad to see him go, but I think that this is better off for Tillman. He's going to get a better opportunity with the Hornets, and we'll see. But I like the deal. It hurts because we're going to miss you, Tillman. Won the championship with you, but now you get opportunity elsewhere and actually get to hopefully play. So I'm going to be rooting for Tillman. Thank you, Xavier Tillman. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and go check out our live as we are breaking down all of the trades here on the Celtics Nation Rise account. So go check that out after you are done with this. Thank you guys for watching. Peace, you guys.